Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. A great voice does not need to be pretty. It needs to be unique. It needs to have a signature sound, and it needs to tell a poignant story. Colter Wall captured me over 2 years ago with his authentic sound and rugged storytelling, and it left such a lasting mark that I am now back for more. Let's get to it. This has so much more somber tone to it. I chose to use the original 16 Brewery Sessions again because I just really like the way I could hear so many aspects of his voice. I think it's a fantastic recording setup, and you get to see Colter playing so many different things. He's just an all-around musician. So that's fantastic, but I remember the Devil Wears a Suit and Tie. It has sort of a snarky feeling to it. And this feels so incredibly, it feels sentimental, but still down to earth with that kick drum and tambourine thing. It's definitely, it has a totally different tone. I'm going to go back to the beginning. It's beautiful. It could be in The Last of Us. That Americana kind of taste works really well. Could be in Firefly. Season. Ooh.
Sunshine beating on the good times, moonlight raising from the gray, string band playing worn out honky tonk, pretty young thing going dancing in the rain.
And that's what I mean by a signature sound. It's like, it's so incredible how his tone has so much depth in it, yet nasal focus. There's this huge, really thick sound that's just in his throat. And then he adds a lot of soft palate drop, which gives it that nasal focus. And you see him scrunching his nose too, and the way he's just sort of threading it through his nose. That is just so authentic to me. And then you add that together with this sort of very raw, it feels like backcountry blues, Americana feel overall. It just works so extremely well. This is one of the most unique voices.
Sunshine beating on the good times, moonlight raising from the gray, string band playing worn out honky tonk, pretty young thing going dancing in the rain. High heel lady spitting at the knickerjacks, businessman with a needle and a spoon, coyote chewing on a cigarette, pack of young boys going howling at the moon. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town, lesson my sense catches up with me.
The storytelling also, it's just spectacular. Right? This idea of sleeping on the blacktop. At first I thought, like, oh, what does that mean? And then it hit me. Blacktop is pavement. It's about people who are homeless that are sleeping just on the road. And then you start to get through sort of some of these lyrics that we're talking, or he's sort of singing, and you get this very raw look, a little sort of window into this nomadic lifestyle. It's just very difficult, and I think it's so incredible how he's giving us these little images going by. I want to go back one more time. Just listen to the way he's expressing all of the story and getting all of those words out. You can see his face, his entire face is so committed to getting this story across.
High heel lady spitting at the knickerjacks, businessman with a needle and a spoon, coyote chewing on a cigarette pack of young boys going howling at the moon. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town, lessing my sense catches up with me.
I'm gonna go back one more time. It's just such an intriguing tone quality. This combination of storytelling and tone quality is amazing. So the way that he's getting a lot of that depth in sound is there's just more pharyngeal space. So like think about like the back of the throat essentially having more space, almost like there's an egg kind of back there. If you go like, oh, I have more space like that, right? But a lot of times when we have more space like that, people will have loft as well, and so they'll kind of be back like this, right? And that tends to mean that their soft palate is up, and maybe even goes a little bit more British. But with the soft palate up in that case, and the depth of tone, you get something a little bit more classical. But he is dropping his soft palate with that pharyngeal space. It feels so strange to me to even try to replicate that. It's just such a phenomenal sound to me. Again, truly, truly authentic. One more time.
Going howling at the moon. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town, lessing my sense catches up with me.
I'm sorry, you guys heard me chuckling there. It's because I saw the kick drum thing. So I know that there's a tambourine that's duct taped to the kick drum, I believe. And so he just will like essentially stomp on the kick drum pedal and catch them both. And I loved this quote. Duct tape solves all problems, I think. Colter Wall once said. Actually, I have to say, I grew up in some backcountry area, and one of the big things that was really important was to always have a roll of duct tape in my car, because I was really bad about getting my car fixed, and I had a problem with my hood. The sides of it would pop up sometimes. The middle latch would hold, but the sides of it would pop up, so it was kind of like a little mouth kind of going like this, not flinging all the way open, mind you, but it was not a good thing, and I just duct taped it shut. I don't recommend this to anyone, but it's good to have duct tape in your car just in case you need a quick fix. But, you know, once it's like quick fixed, go take it to the car repair mechanic. Don't have it that way for a year. That's a terrible idea. You should not do it. But you should have duct tape on hand for everything, because it can fix a lot of problems. Like me talking too much instead of letting the singer continue.
Even for the next town, lesson my sense catches up with me. Three dead in a crash on the number 4. 2 witnesses blowing up high. Not sure whose will be done, and you could call me a sinner for wondering why. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop.
I like the way we have this sort of tremulous vibrato that enters his tone. Again, that feels very, very raw to me. a lot of times if you listen to a singer that's done a lot of training in their life, you'll end up hearing a much more even vibrato that'll be a little bit wider spaced than this. And instead, because he's just embracing his unique, authentic sound, when he gets louder, that seems to come up a little bit. And it just gives a little extra emotion.
Not sure whose will be done, and you could call me a sinner for wondering why. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
Really interesting how he does that extra breath. He's done it both times now, right before the very end of the chorus. Very deliberate. I want to go back one more time for something.
Not sure whose will be done, and you could...
That's actually a really good example of it right there. Every now and then you actually hear like a little break in the tone. I think it's actually extra spit in there.
This is blowing up high. Not sure whose will be...
Right there. Who's. It's like almost a combination of a glottal attack with some spit clearing.
Two witnesses blowing up high. Not sure whose will be done, and you could call me a sinner for wondering why. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
You know, I think a lot of people wonder how they could get a signature sound like this. And I think, first of all, you need to embrace what you sound like, what your strengths are. So many people come to me and they say, Elizabeth, I want to sing higher. Okay, but do you have really awesome low notes? You know, is your voice built to sing higher? Is that going to be where you really shine your best? And often the answer is the voice is just naturally going to shine in another area that maybe you just don't appreciate about your voice enough. So I can fully tell you from having worked with tons of different people and different kinds of voices that most of the time, I think people just don't know how to appreciate their own voice so much. So if you're like, oh, I want to have a really authentic sound, I want to have a unique sound, cool. Learn to love your own voice more. I'm going to go back one more time.
Why? Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
Variation a lot. The way it was like really big and then he brought it back a ton, and he's done this with his voice too.
Well, the corn liquor tastes sweeter in this town. Could it be it's the same as the last? Swear I've seen your face elsewhere before, just as familiar as a bottle and a glass.
Wow. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That vivid storytelling that the corn liquor tastes sweeter in this town, but could it be that it's the same as the last? Like, whoo. Wow. And that really taps into this nomadic lifestyle picture. That's incredible. Speaking of liquor, I admit I recently got like a Colter Wall package, and it includes Pendleton blended Canadian whiskey. Man, he's so Canadian. And so like it just feels like one should drink this while listening to the new Colter Wall album, which I needed to listen to this song first before I could do that. I felt like I needed to have some things in order. But I will probably taste this, then have some tea, and listen to the album. Just saying. Anyhow, go back a little bit.
This town, could it be it's
I want to catch that line one more time.
Corn liquor tastes sweeter in this town.
That line, amazing.
Could it be it's the same as the last? Swear I've seen your face elsewhere before, just as familiar as a bottle and a glass. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey,
I love the way he lets that pitch bend up on run. And
the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey.
I love the way that there's like, not only do we have the depth of the sound and the focus in the nose, but we also have like a certain, like a tiny bit of rasp in it too. It all just feels very raw and like it's just built for storytelling. I know that he's a really big fan of Bob Dylan, and that's another song I think is just so authentic, and all you really want is tons of great storytelling. It's just this kind of voice is built to move us with these little insights, these windows into another life.
Listen, my sense catches up with me. Hey, darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey, darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey, darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
And there's that breath again. That's such an... Listen, my sense catches up with me. What an interesting choice. I think maybe it's making the breath seem as if the sense is almost about to catch up. And it's like, no, keep on going. Though I'd be curious. He's so deliberate about that. Each time there's got to be a very specific reason why.
Up with me.
Right there. One more time.
Leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
This is such a cool setting. Ooh, listen to the way he lets the voice break in there, meaning that he lets it go out of phonation. The air actually still continues. And then that's a great example of that more tremulous kind of vibrato entering. Right, very small but tremulous.
Listen, my sense catches up with me.
That's awesome. This entire performance sets such a mood, right? There's so many ideas I have for where I want to listen to Colter Wall's music. Instantly, I'm thinking, oh, this would be so cool if I were taking a road trip to the Grand Canyon, that kind of country, that would just be amazing. Or maybe to Yellowstone. That'd be so, so cool. Like I could really see road trip music being in that category, or drinking whiskey kind of category. Or actually, I really want to just hang back and listen to some of this with my dad. It's just, that's the kind of authenticity that Colter Wall brings. You immediately want this in some part of your life. I think that's really, really exciting. So I hope that you'll join me in appreciating maybe some more analysis of some other very authentic artists. And may you fall more in love with music every day.